The Pink Pulpits Podcast, the gospel according to her. The Pink Pulpits Podcast explores the living, learning, and leading of women in the 21st century. How does the modern woman handle the world the gospel way? This podcast is for women in ministry, women surrounded by ministry, and so many more. Join us weekly on Saturdays at 6 p.m. for the Pink Pulpits Podcast, the gospel according to her.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, because I know we do have a community of gentlemen that are following us on this awesome journey of the Pink Pulpit Podcast. This is the gospel according to her, and I want to welcome everybody. This is like our 8th episode, and I'm really excited about this woman we have today, you guys. You know, we've been having some powerful conversations. You've been joining me in the pulpit, and you've been understanding that we have marketplace ministry, and we also have what's called pulpit ministry. And I believe that women, we are to dominate and do it all. And I have one of my dogs, my girls, that I have been watching her transform, pivot, change, kill the game, do it all, and you doing it in her stilettos, y'all. What I want you to know is I have watched her from the onset since the beginning. And it's something about watching someone's journey from the get-go. Because you know, sometimes you can see it after the fact and you don't really understand that they had it in them from day one. And what I want you to know is this woman had it in her from day one. I was doing a show on Max Life, and it was also on the Word Network. And this woman was back. And I mean, she was killing makeup. I mean, she was slaying every face that was back there. And there was something that was just, it was just on point with her. When I tell you, she illuminated that she was so far already ahead. She was doing the faces, but I'm telling you, y'all, it was like being at a Beyonce fashion show and you were just, let me introduce her. Let me just give her her kudos and not even just do my end of it, but let me talk about who she is. This truly is the gospel according to her, and she's getting ready to elevate our platform today because this platform is about life's gospel for women by women. And no matter your ministry, whether it's in the pulpit of the church or the pulpit of the marketplace, this is the podcast where you will hear from real women, real ministry, and real stories that matter and that will change the trajectory of where you are to where you ultimately need to be. So today, y'all, remember, I had already set up who I'm going to be talking to. And y'all like, who is she talking about? Let me tell you. Today's guest is Kim Roxie. Y'all, you've been hearing about her. You've already understood that her makeup is worldwide, baby. Worldwide, baby. And she started with a powerful story, and I want to let her tell it. But let me tell you who she is. She is the CEO of LAMIK Beauty. In 2004, LAMIK started as a local makeup shop in Houston, Texas, where women get their makeup and their eyebrows, y'all, was already on fleek, and they let day in and day out, and y'all ain't even heard the full story. You see, I like her, but can't nobody do it like she. But I want her to tell the rest of the story because I really want you to hear it from her mouth and hear it from her heart, how she has elevated where she to where God had always destined for her. So will y'all help me welcome to the Pink Pulpit Podcast, my girl, Kim Roxie. Hey, Kim.
Ooh, I am so excited to be here. Hey, Lady Nicole.
Girl, first of all, thank you. Thank you just for always just being a real deal, being a true friend, and just for being an example of how not to give up, how to persevere, and how to really be a boss. You know, people talk about being a boss chick, but I want you to know that I meant what I said at the very beginning. I've watched you just change the trajectory of the makeup game. You I don't want to tell your story because I mean, being in Ulta by itself speaks without even speaking. But talk to me a little bit about who Kim is, and then we'll dive in a little more.
So it's so funny because Nicole and I think we share a very energetic spirit. I think both of us are very much like the woman's woman. You know what I mean? The girl's girl, the cheerleader. So first I just have to acknowledge, your it's almost like when we met each other, it was like this like mutual understanding. It didn't even have to be said. It was just known, like, oh girl, I see you. Like that's all it was. It was just like, I see you. And but you always see people though, Nicole, like
Yeah.
always see people.
Oh,
And so for that, I must say thank you back to you because you have always seen me and I felt that and that genuine, green, prosperous spirit that you have.
wow.
um, I have also benefited from. So thank you, friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, friend. Thank you, friend.
Yes. So when you think about who is Kim Roxie, Kimroxie, I must say that I I am I don't know how to put it, but like I am just as normal as it gets, just as regular as it gets, just as like when I think about what's special about me, it only comes out of God's spotlight, right? And because
Yeah.
for me, going back to young Kim, that was kicked out of high school at 16, right? Going back to that Kim who I actually was just mentoring some girls on 2 days ago that were 16 years old who were so excited to talk to me. And I told them my story of what happened to me when I was 16 and sort of that being my rock bottom moment that really created and brought the consciousness for me to become the person I am today. Um, and so when I think about it, I just think about that girl that was kicked out of high school, that girl who, was labeled at risk, who was told wasn't going to go to her dream college, that sort of almost got defeated, like almost got overwhelmed with what other people's thoughts or opinions of my future. Um, but I was raised in church. I was raised to trust God. I was raised in faith. And I just tapped into God for me. Like I just tapped
Wow.
into my source, my source of power. And I started to just be more aware. You know what I mean? Just to
Wow.
be more
Yeah.
aware
Yeah.
and sort of like, okay, I gotta believe God for my future because obviously what's on the
Wow.
books don't add up. And so that's what I started to do. And 5 years later, after being kicked out of high school, I opened up my own makeup shop in the mall, um, became an entrepreneur. That was in 2004. This year makes 20 years that I have been a full-time entrepreneur in the beauty industry, um, 2 decades. And this is where we're at. And so much has happened in between. So much is still yet to happen, even though I feel like this is like just the beginning in a lot of ways for me. So much has happened in that time. I have literally been to 5 different continents. I have
Wow.
been in numerous different countries, always traveling in different cities, million miler. You know
Wow.
what I mean? All
Yeah.
based on being a 21-year-old girl who just said, I don't have a job lined up. I don't have no other choice. So I'm just going to depend on God. And we're going to do this and we're going to start this and see what happens. And here we are 20 years later. So that is really the part of who I am that I like to share because sometimes if people just look at your credentials, they think that, who is her mom? Who is her dad? Who is
How 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 did she make it? There had to be something that gave her
yes,
the edge or gave her
yes,
the tip
yes.
in. Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, yes. And that is so not, that is, yes, my mom was special. And I do believe I'm living off my mom's prayers. Don't get me wrong. My dad is a minister. Yes, I do believe, but from the world's perspective and the things that I've been able to accomplish in the marketplace, no, my parents were not that. And so a lot of things I have learned on the job while I'm like in it, I'm there and asking God, okay, next steps, what I'm supposed to say next, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's really who I am.
First of all, you have said so much in just that space, but I really want to, yeah, because you skipped over it when you said, here was that you were, I mean, you were basically told that you wouldn't amount to anything, that anything you endeavored to do, you wouldn't be able to do. And they kicked you out of school,
Mhm.
labeled you at risk.
Mhm.
And how do you go from that space to then being someone that says, I can open up a beauty line? How do you make that big leap?
You know, it's almost like if nobody is betting on you, to a certain extent, it gives you the liberty to move.
That's good. That's
You
good.
know what I mean? Because it's no expectations.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And at the end of the day, to a certain extent, you're moving under the radar. Nobody even see you coming because you literally have, I wasn't valedictorian. I wasn't, anything of that nature. And so I just made a pact with God, really, and I think
Wow.
that was it. I was like, okay, if I pay attention and start just to focus in on what I need to be doing, will you lead the way? And he always has. And I think the part to me, the phenomenon about all of this is the fact that one year I remember being in alternative school and my teacher, because I was so frustrated, she told me to write down my 1 year goal and my 5 year goal. I wrote down my 1 year goal that I just wanted to get accepted into college, a good college. And I put Clark Atlanta because that was my dream school, Clark Atlanta University. And then for 5 year goal, I just put I want to be successful because I couldn't see past the forest of what I was in.
Right, right.
5 years later, 1 year later, I applied for Clark Atlanta University, got in. 5 years later, I was opened up the makeup shop. I got a letter in the mail from the career day. And I was like, oh, this is my first career day. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna RSVP. So I drive up to the school. It's the alternative school that I went to. Get up there, and they're like, hey, telling us about the metal detectors, telling us about the school. I was like, oh, I know how this operates. I was like, you can't go over here. You gotta do this. They're like,
Enjoying the
how
Pink
you know all
Pulpits
that? You know
podcast?
everybody going
Be
there.
sure to like and follow
I
us
was like,
on
no, I don't
Spotify
know.
at Pink
And
Pulpits
they were like,
Podcast.
what?
Subscribe to our
I was like,
YouTube
yeah, I went
at
there.
Pink
Like,
Pulpits
I was like, how did you
Podcast.
find out
Like
about
and
me
save
or
our
anything? They were
website
like,
at
oh, some of the kids
pinkpulpits.org
went up to
and
the
get
mall. They
our
were asking
amazing
them,
No More
what
Silly
they
Women
do,
app
when they
to get
grow
all
up, kind of
updates
thing.
on the Pink Pulpits
And they
Podcast. And
talk about this
remember,
makeup shop
it's
they
the
see on the
gospel
mall. So we just
according
sent a
to
letter to
her.
the makeup shop. We didn't know who owned it. We didn't know anything. And
Wow.
they never had anybody come to the alternative school for career day who actually went to the alternative school.
Wow.
And so for me, at that point, that was my reassurance. 5 years later, I wrote down that I want to be successful. And these kids are sitting up there looking me in my eyes. The younger Kim is looking back at me saying, you're successful. I want to be you.
Wow.
That was
Wow.
that was it for me right there. That I was like, okay, God, I see
So I
stuff,
see you. I
I
see you how you doing
stuff
this.
gonna be wild. Stuff gonna be wild, but you're gonna be all a part. You're gonna be the author of it all. It's just gonna be what it is. So yeah,
And that had to be a full circle moment.
yeah.
That had to be a full circle moment. And for parents that are watching right now and listening to this podcast, I want them to really hear what you said, because there may be a parent, a mother that's saying, I'm battling with my child right now, that they may be going to alternative school or they may be out of school. And here you are as a testament and a testimony that this thing can change.
Mhm,
You can see victory even in a space that seems like there is no victory.
mhm,
What do you think was that thing
mhm,
that, even though it looked like it was everything was derailing, that
mhm.
you did not go all the way off the rails, but
Right.
here was that one, was it that one woman that said your 1 year goal, your 5 year
Mhm.
goal? What was that?
Well, I think for her, she helped to get me. She was just a vessel, right, to
Wow.
be able
Yeah.
to that I could tell this story today.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think it was really my mom.
Mm.
Her her patience. Um,
Mm.
my mom never talked down to me when I was going through all this stuff and I was doing this stuff. And let me tell you, during this time, I remember overdosing at school. I took some drugs, overdosed at school. I, got my tongue pierced. I got tattoos. Like all this stuff was going
All
on,
the stuff.
all the stuff within this time, right? And so, and I have a daughter now, right? So I could just imagine, right? So,
Right.
but the thing that got me, and I think the thing that upheld me, was my mom never believed anything that I did. You know what I mean? Like she didn't.
Yeah.
She didn't
She
say.
didn't. She did right. She didn't succumb to it. She didn't say this is gonna be the lot. This is not gonna how. This is not what she's gonna be doing forever.
No. She saw the good in it. She went through it. She's like, she dropped me off at the church. She's like, we're gonna make it through this. We gonna go. It was just like this. I just remember that, and my dad neither. But I just remember my mom in particular, because you know how it is. You feel like your parents down, and you always are you feeling embarrassed, and that can make you do worse stuff, right? Because now you got shame attached to it and all the other things. And
That's good.
and I just remember, her not talking bad to me. And to me, I just remember that. That's all I can remember. And to me, that was so helpful, because it allowed me to go through it, but without the scars of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. The shame of it.
Yeah.
The condemnation of it.
Yes.
That can continue to pull you down further.
Yes.
Like you said, she kept saying, we're going to get through this. Yeah. This may be what it is, but we're going to get through this. Yeah. That's so powerful in itself that you have someone saying, we will get through this. I even allow you to let yourself stay here. So I think that's so powerful. So here it is. You're getting ready to launch. What happens in 2004 that says to you, I can do this. I can put my name on something and it go worldwide?
Well, I'll tell you, in 2004, I was just trying to make myself a job. Nothing else. I was just trying to make myself a job. It wasn't no like, oh my God, look what I'm about to do. No, it was like, I got to do this. I gotta get started. It was a very like, it wasn't a celebrated moment. Is what I'm trying to say. It was more of almost like a desperation a little bit. Like I gotta go make myself a job. I gotta get out here in the work field. I gotta make something. That's how I kind of felt.
Okay.
And that's more so where I was. And that's the headspace I was in. I remember I spent all my money to open up the store. And after I opened it up, I had $0. When I say zero, nothing. And so I remember when I opened up the store, nobody's coming in.
Nobody's coming in.
No, anything. And I had clientele. I just opened this thing up. And so I remember having to go to the food court. And I went to the food court and I would literally see somebody in the line to try to get up. They trying to get Wendy's or whatever, and I'm like, girl, how was your day at work? Trying to spark up a conversation.
Right.
Go ahead, get your fries. Well, walk down here with me. Eat them on the way to down here. I want to show you something. You know what I mean? I said, let me do your eyebrows for you. And I'll do them complimentary. I just want to show you something real quick. That's how I was able to do that. And the first month I made the rent and I went to the next month. Like that's seriously how I went. I didn't have a clientele. Nobody told me I should have did it. I'm telling you, if I was if I was my mentor, if I would have had a mentor, the mentor would have told me not to do it because I didn't have enough money past the day I opened. Like that, the budget.
I need you to say that again. What you're saying, because this is so good, because what you're saying is a coach would have said, wait till you got 4 months. You can pay your rent, regardless whether you got sales or not. I need you to save up for this moment. I need you to do this. You said you put every dime you had, and you ain't got no money. And now you got left this. I'm gonna believe God that somebody gonna walk through here, and I got enough sales so I can pay this rent for this month.
God, and I'm gonna go get them though.
You said faith without works. Y'all need to just put that in your mind right now. That's what you're saying. You said, I just ain't believing. I'm actually walking this thing out.
Yeah, I gotta go get somebody. I gotta go ask somebody. I gotta go open up my mouth. I gotta go do that. I gotta go do that. So that's what I had to do. Because nobody was walking in. If I was waiting on somebody to walk in, that God was like, no, use your feet and your legs and go and go get them. That's what you want. Go get it.
So you bet on you, and then you made a decision that if anybody coming in this door, I'm gonna have to go get them and bring them in the door. So how do you make the way from 2004 to then what was next? 2008?
So next was 2008, probably, because 2008 is when the mall I was in went into bankruptcy.
Wow.
And everybody had to leave the mall. And this is, during the time of, we see different trends in retail during the time of sort of like that meltdown of malls, right? When people stopped going to malls so much and all this stuff. So particularly this mall went into bankruptcy. Everybody had to leave. So now I'm looking for a space to go to. And I couldn't find anywhere. The only place I could find was this. It was like a house building, but it was a freestanding building. And it was in a much richer neighborhood than the mall I was in. It was in the most influential neighborhood in Houston called River Oaks. And I had to get a realtor. And I didn't even know that I wasn't even smart enough to do this. My friend was, because she had been more exposed than I had. She told me, don't call them people about that building. I'm going to have somebody call for you. We went to the building. We looked at it. I told this guy comes. He says he's my realtor. She tells me he's your realtor. I go, okay. So I go in. We leave. I'm like, okay, I want this space. I go to pick up the keys. The guy was like, the people who own the property were like, oh, are you picking up the keys for the owner? And I was like, no, it's a makeup store. Didn't they tell you that? It was like, yeah, but you work for him? And I was like, work for who? They were like, the guy we met with when you came. And I was like, are you talking about Bob, my realtor? And he was like, your realtor? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm the one who owns this business. I was like, this is for me. Give me the keys. And he was like,
thank you.
Right. And he was like, what are you, married to a basketball player or something?
Are you serious?
And so that was my welcome to the River Oaks neighborhood.
So here it is, you're elevating to a whole new neighborhood, and they think you the hired help, or you got to be married to somebody.
That's what we're talking about. That part right there. You know what I mean? Like connected to something else, something not on your own merit or just with God, right? Right. Shotgun with Jesus. Okay.
So wait a minute. Listen to what you just said. You go from being in a mall, having a station, having a place, to now your own brick and mortar.
Yeah. And I was so scared, Nicole. Now I have been in business long enough, about 4 years, to be scared. You know what I'm saying? When I first did it,
you just doing it. You just said, y'all gonna make me a job, and I'm gonna try to figure this bug out. Me and God gonna do this.
Nothing to lose. 2008, and I didn't even realize. I heard people talking about a recession, but at the time, I went to a really good church with our pastor. He didn't, make us feel like the recession was going to bother us. Again, I'm like, at this time, I'm still like 26 years old, something like that. I don't even know enough to even be scared of a recession. So I'm doing this whole build out, everything, like all the stuff, again, that somebody else would tell you, do not do that right now.
Shut up.
But I did it anyway. And I get this space, and I was so scared because I didn't have the foot traffic of a mall. I was like, now I can't walk to a food court right now.
Wow.
I am by myself. And now what am I going to do? And girl, the Lord told me, baby, you're going to have to go out there and meet people. You got to go out there and network every event, every place. And that's what I did. That's what I did. And I started calling people up, asking them to come, like all of that. All of it.
Okay. So I saw the brick and mortar. And you were killing it. Here it is. You made the leap. You bet on you out there. You in high rent district, and you are slamming and slaying. 2011, what happens?
2011, I'm still in business. 2011, 2012, It really happened, like 2011, 2012.
12.
My mom develops metastatic breast cancer. At the time, we didn't know it was metastatic. So let's just say breast cancer. At the time, we just thinking it's breast cancer. She gets breast cancer. She goes through treatment. At the time, I found out that our brand was going to be launched regionally, like locally, and in a couple Macy's stores. So excited on one end about that, but then on the other end, totally down because it's my homie, this my girl, it's my ride.
Yeah, that's the one that was riding for you, telling you we're gonna get through this. We get ready to roll.
She just saying gave me $500 to help me open up that shop in the mall. Like she believed. Like my mom loved makeup. This was, to be honest, this was really her dream from like she loved makeup. Like I love making women feel good about themselves. I'm more on the service purpose side of this whole thing. My mom was on the I love makeup. Like I love makeup. And
I like all that it does. I like what it did. Right. I got
everything. Give it to me all. Like my mother was in Candyland. So I remember, 2012, so she gets cancer. So then we go through treatments thinking it's, that's it. Cancer comes back in 2014, aggressive. Come to find out it's metastatic. It had metastasized, went to her brain, her spine, and mom transitions, right? Right then when my mom transitioned, because she actually got me ready in a lot of ways. And again, she did it just like she did when I was in alternative school, when she told me, we're going to get this, it's just dropping me off. It's going to be just going through her last couple months. I mean, I could just see, now that I look at the footprint, everything is like, you gonna do it, Kim. You got this. Da da da. She was talking about I was gonna get married without saying marriage, but I knew exactly what she was saying.
Right.
She was sick, and I would do the night shift. Like my sisters, we had different shifts. Yeah. You know how it go. You know what your mom like.
I already know. Right.
I had the night shift, so I would sleep with her at night. Slept with my mom, all that stuff. And she told me when her body really was reckoning with pain, and she would get up in the middle of the night, almost like a baby, and she would tell me, "I'm getting you ready for a baby." Now I ain't talked to my mom about having no baby, no nothing. She telling me,
"Are you married at the time?"
No. She said, "I'm getting you ready for a baby." She told me all that. She pulls me, and so she's like taking me on this whole thing. So then when she transitioned, immediately the Holy Spirit told me, "No turning back." Wow. And I was like, because I wanted to just grieve. I just wanted to just to just collapse, if you know what I mean, right?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. My mom just transitioned 4 months ago, and you have to make a choice decision that is not how I'm getting ready to handle this. That is not how I'm getting ready to allow this to now take me out and not keep me on the path of where I know I'm supposed to be going.
Yes. So immediately the Holy Spirit tells me no turning back.
Wow.
And I was like, and then God gives me the instruction that it's going to be brand new. Like everything is about to be brand new. Life about to be brand new. Like
Tune in next week for the Pink Pulpits Podcast, the gospel according to her. Be sure to like, follow, share, and subscribe to this amazing weekly podcast with your host, Lady Nicole Green. That's right, the Pink Pulpits Podcast, the gospel according to her.